Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat Pranams. Welcome to the fifth in our series of talks on the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita as it is, bite-sized talks, where every month we get together virtually and I read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita as it is and read Srila Prabhupada's report. And then I will talk very briefly on it. Remember, these bite-sized talks are not about me. They're about hearing the words of Lord Krishna and hearing the words of Srila Prabhupada. As you know, here at the Hare Krishna Project, we have a preference, a very strong preference for only reading Srila Prabhupada's original authorized books. So we read from, during these talks, we read from the 1970, look how glossy and beautiful that front cover looks. We read from the 1972 Macmillan edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And as you know, we also distribute Srila Prabhupada's original books because it's important to do that. So many of you would have been following these short talks for 4 or 5 months now. This is the fifth edition. You can watch this on Facebook or YouTube. However you're tuning in to watch this short bite-sized talk, it's great to have you with us. Okay, so for this month's reading, very short reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, I'm reading from chapter 5, verse verse 18, 5:18. And this is another of my favorites. I think I say that every month, but this is another of my favorites. And it will become obvious in a moment why. Um, okay, so Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, verse 18 reads, "The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, or outcast." And this is the purports provided by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A Krishna consciousness person does not make any distinction between species or castes. The brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, or an elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma, regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord, as Paramatma, is present both in the outcast and in the brahmana, although the body of a brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the supersoul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, does not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. Isn't that fantastic? A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and the supersoul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. When we established, when a group of us got together to establish and set up the Hare Krishna project in 2021, we did so on a number of kind of founding principles, some values that were really important to us. And one of those was equality, that spiritually we're all the same. And we want to treat all living beings and all living entities equally. Um, Most of us in the Hare Krishna project have experienced some kind of discrimination in our lives. We have been treated as outcasts in the kind of modern sense of the word or the term. We've been disrespected, as I'm sure most of you have been disrespected at some point in your lives. And we've also been made to feel unworthy, not valued, not important. We've all had different experiences of those feelings, those emotions. And that's why we recognize completely that treating human beings with respect, with dignity, is a really important aspect of the way that we do things here at the Hare Krishna Project. Many of you will have noticed that I host a podcast, and we're fast reaching our 150th episode. And you'll all know the story that I was only planning to do 10, and then I thought I'd get quite bored after that and do something else. Well, no, we're almost at the 150th edition, and it's been a journey, a real journey, interviewing so many people, helping them to share their stories within the Hare Krishna movement. Now, it's quite understandable to believe and accept and know that I don't agree with all of the guests. There's a good chance that of those 150 guests, I've disagreed with a number of them, their views, their approach to things, the way they do things. But I still treat them with respect. I still treat them in the way that I would like to be treated. Krishna exists in the hearts of all. What more or better inspiration do we need to treat all people with respect and dignity? Sastra tells us that. It tells us that Krishna exists in the hearts of all. We need to get better in the Hare Krishna movement of treating people with respect and dignity, treating people the way in which we want to be treated. When I joined the Hare Krishna movement some 20 years ago, one of the things that it looked like from the outset that it was a movement where everyone was the same, so to speak. That's a metaphor. A movement where all people could be included, where all people could be valued, and where all people were focused on and aiming for the same thing. Forgive the expression, but a lovey-dovey group of people where everyone got along and everyone shared the same values and ideas. How wrong was I? I soon found out that within the Hare Krishna movement, there are divisions, there are disagreements, there are arguments, there are debates. Just like in the real world, we might have differences of opinion. We might have disagreements. There's nothing wrong with having disagreements, but we just need to be more respectful when we have them. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 18, the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada.